It's Scorched Earth time at Airbrushes Hobbies.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Baer from SpikyBits.com. We got some new bases for you to check out today. So Airbrushes Hobbies came out with a new line called Scorched bases, and they have pretty much every size available. I think except for maybe the 28s for Eldar, but you know, you can't win them all, I suppose. But having multiple different styles for some of the more popular base sizes, and just having that huge variety, almost from everything from 25 mil all the way up to like the 170. Actually, I think they have the big rounds as well. Is it's no small feat this day and age either. So this is a really exciting base once you get them painted up, because it's kind of hard to see the detail on them, which I'm going to show you here in a second. When you're just kind of looking at them, you're like, oh, okay. But then once you realize, like, hey, there's a lot of blank area here, and there's a lot of room that you can put tufts on here. But there's even more importantly is there's enough room to attach your models to the base without having to scrape away any of the details. So let's jump over to their site and kind of see what the price points are at, and then take a look at some of the bases. And of course, we have one painted up here today too. So here's the site, airbrusshobbies.com. And like I said, they sent these over to us to kind of show you guys how to promote. And we like painting one of them here. Tim at the studio paints up one of the bases for them, and eventually we ship them all back to them to use in a display of some sorts. Hopefully we'll see it next year at Adepticon. But here's kind of some of the idea of, and I don't know if this drop down is going to work. No, it doesn't work for you. But normally there's a drop down menu right here that'll show you all the different sizes. So they started 25 millimeters, like I said, at $8.50. And that's actually not the lowest price. Like, I think the lowest price is a 60 mil base that is $5.25. So price wise, they start about $5.25, and then they go all the way up to $170. The 170 mil base, which is the night base, or I guess a lot of other things use it right now. And the cool thing about the night base, and I'll show you this here in a minute, is that it's got enough room to put the feet down, so you don't have to like kind of scrape away detail and such, because sometimes that can be kind of a pain. But you could definitely, if you wanted to pose them differently, you could do that on here. But unfortunately, I can't show you the drop down. But there's 3 different sizes for 60 mils, 2 different sizes for 90 mils. Now 90 mils is the kind of that new size that a lot of models from Games Workshop are using. We did it at like a lot of the Greater Demons, the Demon Primarchs I believe are on that as well. 80 mil, not as much. Ghazghkull's on 80 mil, and they do have an 80 mil version. Then they've got the 100 mil, 130 and 160 round. Lots of the oval sizes for Cavalry, I think pretty much all of them. They even have the 150 by 192 millimeter oval, which is that new Orc vehicle oval base right there. Let's see if we can pull that one up. It's kind of hard to tell. There it is right there. So there's the new 150. So like I said, they have pretty much all of the sizes on here. You can just kind of jump in, except for the 28 millimeter, which really, it's not a super deal breaker unless you're trying to do your whole army and you need those right now. But I'm sure going forward, as more factions use them besides Sisters and Eldar, we'll start seeing those get filled in over here on the site as well. And here's the bases up close and personal. So I opened up some of the sets of bases they sent us. So we've got, the normal favorites, 32s, 25s, 40s. I think this is like a 90. I forget which one I opened right here. Now I'm curious which one I actually opened, because that might. That's the 80. So this is the Ghazghkull size right here. That's why I opened it. I knew there was a reason. So if you do have a Ghazghkull, and of course I don't have my assembled Ghazghkull here anymore because we sent it to somebody as a redemption, but I can tell you right now that for the most part it would sort of fit on here. Now there's going to be some parts to kind of scrape off because this base it has that whole area right there. So if you wanted to do this, you could for Ghazghkull, but 80 is just kind of a weird size in general. In 40K and AOS right now, I think more stuff in AOS actually uses this base than 40K. Now, like I was saying, while these are great sizes and great everything, the key to a good base is that you can actually put your models on it, right? And that it has really good detail. Now, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see all that crackle up in here, which is, again, it's kind of hard to see. It's very faint, but it is there. You can almost see it in the light right here. So there's some texture, crackle. And then they've got these little skeletons and piles of skulls in, little different spots. And each base has, maybe like a leg bone there, or like a skull or something like that. And they're all pretty well strategically placed. So like if you wanted to put your models on there, like I got a Primaris dude, he's gonna fit on there just fine, you know, as far as that goes. So that's kind of the key when it comes to this stuff. The 40 mil Terminator bases, you know, they got the skulls laying there, got some rib cages and stuff, so lots of room to actually work and put your miniatures on here, which is probably the most important thing as far as that goes. Now, when it comes to an actual painted version of, oops, I had an extra base right there, of this model, we went ahead and painted this up. Like I said, OBJ Tim here at the studio painted this one up and used some really cool earth tones and some blacks and worked in some violets and stuff from the different sides, so it actually looks different depending on which side you're kind of looking at the base, and then added some tufts and gave it a little bit of brown right there. So once you get it painted, you can see all the wonderful detail, all the wonderful crackle down in there that really gives this a kind of a two-tone type of look, and that will really accent your army. Now you could paint it all the same color if you really wanted to, but there's a lot of, you know, opportunity here to kind of do some really cool art stuff as well. So, you know, just definitely something to think of. And then of course you've got all these bits of skeletons. Now I really would like to put some of my Iron Warriors on these bases here, so I grabbed one of my Domitars just to kind of get a feel for if his feet would even fit on here, and it looks like they would fit on here just fine, which is really cool to see. So depending, and remember there's 3 different 60 mils, there's a couple of different of the cavalry bases, so lots of different sizes there to be utilized. And then of course the Primaris size will fit on here just fine. And I don't have the Gaskell to show you, unfortunately, but if we did, I'm pretty sure you could do a little bit of work to get him on here. But stuff like Leviathans, Daradeos actually fit on here, but I think like Leviathans and stuff are on a 90 if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and something else I wanted to show you, some of the ones that are actually still in plastic here, but stuff like this, you know, this is a Archaon size base, I believe. This is the 130, no, 160. So this is the Archaon. I want to say also like some of the larger flyers now use this one, like from Forge World. This is the 130 right here. That's some other of the large stuff, not so much in 40K. I think potentially the what's that one, Astraeus tank, I think that might use this one here. So it'd be a little bit hard to put a flying stand on here, you might have to scrape that off, but you could put it on this one, I suppose. I don't know how much of a difference basing makes right there, but they've got lots of different varieties and piles of skulls on each one. Like here's the larger Balisarius base, here's a different version of it, you know, that you could put, I think Slomulux goes on this one too, and then here's just a flat, just a little bit of crackle on it too for a 60. Like I said, there's a bunch of different 60s right there. So depending on what you want to do, there's probably a Scorched Earth base for you right there. As a matter of fact, I think, yeah, the new Impulsor is on a, I believe that's a 100 right there, because if that's an 80, that's a 100. So interesting time and interesting size bases, but for the most part, Elrix is keeping up with it, except for, like I said, the 28. But you can't really get mad about that. That's kind of a newcomer right there. So that is it for this one. Make sure you jump over to elrixhobbies.com to check out all their base offerings. Of course, they got paint, all sorts of hobby supplies. It's not just bases, but bases are what they seem to do best. So I always start there when I'm starting a new base project. So definitely be sure to check that one out for yourself, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.